All right. Hello, everybody. Anybody who's here. I'm just going to make sure that everything is working all right over here on YouTube. Let's see. Okay, looks like we are good to go there. Cool. All right, well, hopefully people will join up. Yeah, what's the idea of this stream today? So if people have been sort of tuning into what I've been doing for a while, last year, so back in like fall 2019, pre-COVID world, which is just wild to think about, my friend Ado and I, we got started working on something called Speak.dev, and I pull up the site that we had. This is just like it's a landing page, and that's all it's ever been. But yeah, and we started doing some development towards the actual product, Speak.dev, and the product, as we sort of envisioned it, is to be this this thing that conference speakers, so like tech speakers, whether you speak at conferences or meetups or whatever, that you can go use and find events to speak at and apply to events and like kind of host a profile for yourself and that sort of thing. Ultimately make it easier for developers or just tech speakers in general to speak at events. So we started building some stuff towards this, but never really got too far. You know, life just kind of took over, as it does. We started to put together an application. Actually, I'll just pull up the GitHub here. Let's see. Yeah, so the last commit by Ado was in July. He did a lot of work towards it back in July. But ultimately, I think we've just kind of fallen off the wagon with it. Things haven't really been progressing as we want them to. So, and then the other day, I was checking my credit card statement, and I got a charge of $540. And I was reminded at that point that the domain Speak.dev, when I bought it, was a pricey one. It's like a $540 domain when I bought it last year in 2019. And so it renewed for another charge of $540. So we are $1,000 in, over $1,000 into this domain, and haven't done anything with it yet. So that's something I want to fix. And that's the idea today. Is I want to get up a very, very minimal, very simple version of this website, this web app. And what I want to have it do today is basically just like take in event information and display it. So there won't be any kind of feature right now to have speakers create profiles. Not yet. We won't have anything like that yet. We will instead just have something that will act as like a repository for events. Tons of online events happening right now. So, and I think probably more events happening, more tech events happening right now because everything's online than we would see in regular times. So, you know, hopefully it'll be useful. And the purpose, like the reason that I'm going to do this today and do it in one session, more or less, is because at Prisma, where I'm working over at Prisma, we have this learning day today. Here's Prisma. At Prisma, we deal with databases. We give you like an ORM, a really nice way to interact with databases. You don't have to write any SQL. You get a really super clean ORM. You get TypeScript integration, all that stuff, lots of tooling for databases. And so at Prisma, we've got this learning day happening today where we are basically spending the day like learning some new tech, diving into it. It can be whatever we want. It can be like whatever kind of project we want. So the idea is my learning task for the day is to learn how to like take a Next.js application that uses Prisma and GraphQL and deploy that to Vercel, because I kind of understand how to like use all of these pieces more or less, but I haven't gone like the full way to put all of them together, have a real database in the cloud, deploy to something like Vercel using serverless. I haven't gone through all that yet. And so that's what I want to do today. And that's why I'm here on this stream. So hopefully we can get something good by the end of this. And I think more or less how it'll work is basically it'll just be me working as I normally would, but just kind of like annotating as I go, talking about what I'm doing, and hopefully it's interesting. Hopefully, like if you're interested in Next or Prisma or what have you, maybe you get some value from this. And if not, maybe we can just hang out. Put some comments in the stream, in the chat. Let me know how you're doing. Tell me who you are, and yeah, let's build something. So I've got my coffee. I'm ready to go. Hopefully everyone else is ready to go. Let's go. All right. So we have Speak.dev, like the app here, and this is a Next application. But I want to actually, what I want to do is not use this. I want to basically start from scratch. I think the Next application that's in here, it's pretty old. I want to take it like from scratch anyway, to like let everyone see what this looks like going completely from scratch. And then we can maybe see like what it looks like from the ground up that way. So let's do this. Bring this into view here. And I'm going to adjust as I go. Hopefully we can sort of like see everything. I'm checking over on the other side to like see what it looks like, to make sure it's coming through all right. If anybody's like having a hard time seeing the screen or whatever, just let me know and I can bump up the size or whatever. Okay, so let's make a directory. I'm going to call this speak.dev. Actually, I'll do that. Speak.dev. I'm going to take out that folder because I want to instead new up the Next.js application. So I should probably pull up the Next.js docs here, because I think we can do a create next app or something like that. Let's see. Learn or docs, I guess. Yeah, npx create next app. That's what we wanted. And I've gone through this a bunch of times, but oftentimes I still default to going to make a directory. So npx create next app. Then I believe we step through. Yeah, what's your project name? We'll do speak.dev like that. Looks like that is good to go, I think. Yep, we are good. Okay. So cd speak.dev and open that up in VS Code. Perfect. All right. So I'm going to bump up this editor size. Let's see how we do here with the font size. Again, if anybody can't see stuff, please do let me know. So what I want to do is, I definitely know I want to work with TypeScript. Prisma is great working with TypeScript because you get types generated for you for your database model stuff, and then you get to use those across your application. And it's pretty nice for giving yourself the types that are coming out of your database model. It's nice to apply those elsewhere so that you can have information annotated across your application, so you know how your database operates in places other than just your database access. And maybe we'll see some of that as we go here. There's this section here in the Next docs, TypeScript. And so this is the way to basically get TypeScript going in your Next app. It's all JavaScript by default, right? Yeah, so it's just JS files. But it works really well with TypeScript. Next.js provides an integrated TypeScript experience out of the box. So, and then all you do is touch tsconfig.json. Cool, so that's there. And if we do like npm run dev, it's going to tell us something about what we are missing. So we do that and we fail, and it says, please install @type/react. And I guess TypeScript must be a dependency already, right? No, I guess maybe that's wrapped up into here somehow. Usually, like from what I remember, That's interesting. Before, I remember it saying that you had to install TypeScript and then the React typings. But I guess that's different now. I don't know. We'll find out. Let's do this. npm install add types React, and that's a dev dependency. We don't need that as an actual regular dependency because it doesn't need to ship with our code bundle. Maybe TypeScript comes along with this. It's like a pure dependency or whatever. I don't actually know. Oh, hey, Arpan. And chat, hello, welcome. You know what? I'm just realizing actually, yeah, I did this a bit wrong. I used npm there when it was initiated with yarn. So what do? I'm just gonna. I always run into problems when I mix yarn and npm. So instead of trying to like mix those two, I'm just gonna delete none modules, run yarn again. Everything will install, and I think we're good. Let's do npm run dev. Do we get anything good? Let's see. Yeah, we started your project, localhost 3000. That's cool. Let's see. Cool. Welcome to Next.js. We're good to go. Yeah, I love how Next.js is really like you can get something going very quickly. Create Next app. You know, if you're a fan of Create React app, it's pretty much like that. It works really well. So then what I do generally is I'll come over here and I'll redo these as TS files. So it's actually TSX that we need. And then we need to imports TSX. No file directory app.js. So it must be importing somewhere. App.js. Try just running it again. Maybe it pages. It's probably looking for it in the cache, I suppose. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, that I've run into this issue quite a bit with Next is like, and Gatsby as well, is you'll run your app and then you'll work on something and you'll do something where you like change a file extension or something like that. And things that are contained in the cache will break that, and then you'll get errors. So I don't know if there's like a good recommended way to avoid that. I usually just like kill the project, run it again. Sometimes I delete this whole folder if it's like a stale cache situation, if I suspect that it is. That seems to do the trick usually. So Arpan, increase font size. Yes, sir. I will do that. You know what? Let's do this. In my settings, font size is 14 by default. Increase it to 18. Let's see what that does. Okay, Arpan, how's that? You let me know, bud. Increase this as well. Which I'll probably have to like be back and forth, bumping in and out of Zoom because I want to know what this looks like with regular Zoom. Not zoomed in. All right, so what now? Do I have other? Yeah, so I have hello.js and I want this to be hello.ts. So I'm using TSX here. If you're not familiar with like TypeScript with React, TSX will give you, it's like the equivalent of JSX essentially. So you would use TSX when you've got a React component. It's the file extension needed here to make the JSX work essentially. But this is just a regular TypeScript file, hello.ts. This is the API routes. And so one thing we can check out here, actually, maybe we'll just make sure this works. This should be running at API, I think, right? Let's see. That. Hello. Yeah, there we go. So I like to do this. I like to have like two windows open here and one for the API. So if you're not familiar with API routes in Next, it's like one of the best features, I think, is that anything you put in the API folder here becomes an API route. What that means is like you get a serverless function to serve this route, whatever you want. And then you can deploy that serverless function super easily. It replaces, or it can replace, your API. There are people who would say that it's like not a full replacement for an API, and I would actually agree with that in some ways. Like, I don't know if it's, I mean, I'm sure that like API routes are great for many tasks, but for most applications, I don't know if it's going to replace like your full out API. I'm not sure if that's super feasible yet, but I'm sure there are people being successful with it, but I have my doubts, I suppose. Our pen says, what are we thinking for styling? Tailwind v2. That's what we will use. If you haven't followed the news, Tailwind is at v2 as of yesterday, I think it was yesterday. Brand new website, brand new version, and v2 is nice. It's got a lot of improvements. The thing that I was seeing that was like a big improvement was with like, I think it's like colors. For example, if you do text gray, you get this like text gray 50. I think this is new to V2. I don't know, maybe it was there before. But yeah, you get like, I think for a lot of things, you get more options essentially. So like you get like Tailwind is great because you get all these defaults. They default you to like some opinionated values here, but there are more of them, I suppose. Like I think for even things like spacing, I think spacing and colors and breakpoints, like there are more. Like there's a 2XL breakpoint now for big screens. That's like new at version 2. There's stuff like dark mode, which is really cool. You can prefix your styles with dark, and then you're going to get dark mode support. So if your system is on dark mode and you've got this here, it'll automatically choose the dark style, which is really cool. Our band says everyone and their mom knows that V2 is out. It did take over Twitter. I'm just going to use the default color palette just for the sake of time today. Probably we'll change that later. With Tailwind, we can do like a custom color palette and provide our own colors, but I don't think we'll have time for that today. Okay, so let's get Tailwind in. This is a good chance to do that. I'm actually just going to go through, I mean, I've done this a bunch of times, the installation, but I'm going to go through it here. One thing to note is, and I don't know, I upgraded V2 in a Gatsby project, but I don't know with Next where we're at yet. There's this post CSS issue of version 7 compatibility. So post CSS is now at version 8, but tools like Gatsby that aren't, if you haven't upgraded Gatsby at least, or maybe it's the case even with the latest version of Gatsby, it doesn't support post CSS 8. So you have to use this compatibility build for Tailwind v2. So that's fine. Let's try it like this. We'll try just doing it the regular way that they say here. Oops, what is it? Yarn add. Yarn add Tailwind. All its friends. Yard, huh? Yarn add Tailwind, post CSS and auto prefixer. Done. Okay, cool. So yeah, let's step through the docs. We'll just do this like as if we're brand new to Tailwind. Yeah, so you need a file called post CSS config. So touch post CSS config.js. Go, and then it says do an export module.exports with this object plugins. I know in some other projects I had to like require Tailwind and I had to require auto prefixer here. So I'm not sure if this is going to work, but we're going to see. Yes, next thing is to create like a Tailwind config file. And that's where we would define customizations and stuff. So npx, how does this work? And if you're mixing npx with yarn, I assume it's going to work fine. I don't know. npx Tailwind CSS init. Sweet. So as far as I know, that just adds the Tailwind config file. I think that's all that command does. All right. Include Tailwind in the CSS. So I know that there's, I've seen before some like opinion. Well, there's like an official way to do this in Next.js. I'm gonna just pull open something here with like a how-to guide, just to see if there's any differences in the way that we're doing this. Okay, so people, I think the way they say they do this is they'll have like a styles directory. Oh, there is a styles directory. Styles, and then a Tailwind file in here. So we add a file, Tailwind CSS. And that's where you would put this. These Tailwind directives or whatever we call them here, with the base components and utilities, like different modules that come from Tailwind. Okay. And then I think we can go to, oh yeah, there's this way to do it with an overrided app, which we have. Yeah, so let's go here. Okay, so yeah, in this file here, we're already importing something from style. So let's try Tailwind CSS as well. More to do. Let's see. If we tried to change something, for example, let's give, you know what? Let's just take out all of this stuff, basically. So you're not going to need that. And let's do a div. I usually, just to make sure the Tailwind's working, what I usually do is I'll come in and give it some class names that I know about. So shadow, large, key8, hello world, something like that. Okay, so this tells me, what does that tell me? That it may not be working as I expect. Import, go up to styles, get Tailwind CSS. I'm just doing some reading here off to the side. I feel like we may not have configured something correctly. I'm going to look through the docs again here. Actually, let's see something. We don't have any errors. Okay, so that's good. In app.js, import Tailwind. If you're working in JavaScript framework like React, you can skip creating CSS files together. Maybe this is better. I don't know if this is a new at version 2. What? This? Doing something. I think. No, that's just from the PTI going in. So yeah, this doesn't seem like it's working. What are we doing? Style CSS. Got Tailwind CSS here. CSS folder styles.css. This is being brought in still, I believe. No, it's not. I'm going directly. Yeah, our pen, I do have Tailwind IntelliSense. Does it look like it's not working, I guess? I don't know. Let's see. Tailwind. Yeah, it's there. I wonder if it's because we're not really properly set up with Tailwind yet, maybe something like that. Tailwind config. Oh, did we not do anything? Yeah, we did that. And then, you know what? Let's try this. Dev. And maybe a cache issue or something like that. We'll see. Yeah, I don't know why that IntelliSense was not going. I'm not sure. There we go. Sweet. So yeah, it was some kind of like cache problem, I suppose. Okay, right now though, we have both of those coming in. So if I were to take out that one, this is the initial recommended way. Pull in styles / Tailwind CSS, which is this file that we've got here with these imports or whatever we call them. I don't know. I'm not even sure what we call this really when we have an @ symbol with like a custom name like Tailwind. I don't know what that's called. Is that an import? A CSS module? Something? I don't know. If you know, feel free to tell me. Cool. So let's refresh. Still good. Okay, sweet. Okay, we're there. Tailwind done, I believe. We're good to go. So let's think about how we want to actually build this out. I've got like a rough idea of what I want. Maybe actually what I can do is start in Figma. Maybe that's a good idea. To get super high fidelity within Figma, but maybe it's a good idea to get a little bit of a layout going. Speak.dev. Get a bit of a layout going and figure out what we want this to look like. So let's do desktop, MacBook Pro. That sounds good. Okay. So what are we, yeah, let's take some notes actually. What are we going to have here for stuff to look at? So we're going to have event listings. Basically what I'm picturing this to be is like a one pager at the outset where we display a list of events. You can sort of like click into them to get more information, and they have links to the event page, the actual like event website. Then what else? We need a spot for people to submit. We need a quick form basically for people to be able to submit their links. And that'll be it, I think. So event listings, what information do we want under there? Maybe that's what we could focus on right now. We're going to have event name, date, I suppose. We'll support a date range, description. What else? Organization. Who's putting it on. Location, I suppose, but assuming everything's virtual these days. I suppose location, what would this be? This would be online, for example. Like it normally, I mean, in regular times, this would be like the actual physical location, but I suppose for now it's like online for the most part. That'll be the option to select. Name, date, description, organization, location. What else do we want to? I'm like picturing in my head what this would look like over here. Maybe we can even start, but that's like a good start at some info. Maybe now what we do. So what I want to do actually, can I color this frame? I think I can. The frame itself. Where is that? I could have sworn there was like a way to actually make the background a certain color. So just this? Yeah, okay. Okay, so a bit of a gray for the background, and then like this white. and give it some shadow. I usually go in here and do like a bit of blur, a bit of spread, a bit much there. But whatever, something like that. Around the corners. All right, so meh, whatever. I don't really need to be fussing with shadows right now. But I am. All right. What do we have here? We basically want like the list to just like run down the center of the page. So this is our page. We'll have some kind of like we'll have some kind of nav bar. Yeah, that's a good idea, right? A nav bar. Basically any website needs a nav bar, pretty much. That'll be whatever color. So if we get close to like 900 some, I guess we can set the width like this. So that's like our main, this will be like our main section maybe. Yeah, maybe that's our main section. And then like over here, oops. What is the command to duplicate? There we go. If you're a Figma user, I just found this quick key out recently, and you want to like duplicate something without copying and pasting, you can do it with dragging. You just do shift option drag. So like highlight something, shift an option, and then drag it over, and that's going to give you your copy of it. All right, so maybe over here, this will be like a spot to submit. Yeah, that's what we can do. Super simple. Right now, it'll just be listing over here. This will list out the events. And then on this side, it'll be a form. How will that work? It'll be a form to submit. And I think what we'll do, like eventually you're going to need an account to be able to submit this stuff. But for now, because we want to get things rolled out quickly, we will just have it like basically take your basic info. You won't have to have an account. And then I think how we'll set it up is like the events will require review essentially before they get posted. So yeah, when we initially put them in the database, we'll have like a status of pending or whatever. And they'll require me and Ado to go in and take a look at the event, etc., and then approve it. Okay, so what should this look like? Oh, hi, Ado. How's it going, man? Thanks for coming. Otto, if you want to jump in, by the way, hop on StreamYard, or I can send you a link. You let me know. Send me a message. If you are free. I don't know if you're free or not, but if you are, come on and hang out. All right. So cool. All right. Otto is busy. No problem, man. You let me know if you free up. So let's get a really simple UI here for this. So I've got a line. I think what we'll do is like have really simple separators like this. Gray. How much space should we give to these? Maybe what we'll do is start with one more, and then we will, what can we do? Take these lines, and we can distribute the vertical spacing so that they're even. Although I guess this last one wouldn't be there, right? We'll see how this comes together. We'll probably change it though. The event name can go here. So we can put, let's think of some events. These are all, I'll put some events that I either spoken out recently or I'm about to speak out. So GraphQL Galaxy, that's one. Up December 7th and 8th, I think. GraphQL Galaxy. And maybe we'll make this like a blue. Kind of to represent that it's a link or something. So what do we say? What's our stuff here? So we got name, dates, description. What is the actual date for that? Let me pull it up. GraphQL Galaxy, December 7th to 8th. That's our dates there. So yeah, December 7th to 8th, 2020. It's like gray-ish. And the size will go down. A good size? I don't know. Let's see. Why is it giving me mixed? You know what? I'm going to delete this and try again here. December 7th to 8th. Color is gray. Cool. Okay. I'll leave that. We'll probably come back to it. Description will be, how do we want this to work? I don't, for simplicity today, I don't really want to like create dedicated pages for this. I just want to be able to click on the thing and show the description. So maybe we just do it like where it unfolds. This basically becomes a giant accordion, I think, is how it would work. We'll want like, we don't want to make it too complex today. We don't want to have like a dedicated page that you go to. Eventually, we'll have like a page for the event. But right now, let's just have it unfold. I think that's probably better. So description will show up when it unfolds. Organization, where can that go? Well, actually, what we'll do first is maybe something like this. So we'll have a little tag. Yeah. And then the tag can say, actually, hold on one sec. Let's bring this. Where's my handlebars for it? Come on. Oh, it's because I had a text thing that I was about to create. Okay, so that goes there. This goes here. And this I want to say virtual. That is the type of event it is. I'm just going to totally grayscale this. We'll bring some color into it once we actually go to the application, but let's keep it simple right now. So that would be, yeah, I guess like if we're in a world where we have in-person events, maybe this is maybe this is just a tag for you to easily see that it's virtual versus like in person. So what I mean by that is like if you had another event that was in person, you'd have a tag that says in person, but it wouldn't so much be the location. Location information would be associated with a listing that was actually in person, but since it's virtual in this case, we don't, you know, it's not like we need a link. We do need a link to the website though, to the website for the event. So maybe we do go to website. And that'll have like an arrow. Go to event website. This. What did I want to do? Bold. Then we'd have an arrow, that kind of like arrow icon that shows you can go to another page. I've seen those. Maybe this is like a button even, where we have a rectangle. And yeah, I don't know, something like that. Group these. That'll go somewhere. I don't know. Maybe like maybe here's a good spot. Okay, what else? Location, organization. Yeah, the organization. Maybe the organization just goes right here beneath. Oops. The organization can basically go right here. I think it's Git Nation. So event by Git Nation. I don't know, something like that. Oops. I just moved the background accidentally. All right, this is fine. Of course, it's not all that great right now. It's not super nice, but whatever. It'll do the trick, right? RPen, I like your idea. Maybe italicized and less. Are you thinking maybe it would be a lighter gray, like a something like that? RPen. Cool. Thanks, man. I like that idea. I like it. I kind of want to get this to be the same gray, even though this is going to change. Now, let's do this to be the same color as this. Does that work? Yeah, okay. And the arrow that we've got here, same thing. You know, maybe we don't even need this eventually because we'll be able to click here. I don't know. Maybe we should just keep it. So I made all these lines earlier, but actually I'm realizing maybe we should just not have those. Maybe instead, let's group all this stuff together. Basically this. Not that. Group the selection and GraphQL Galaxy. Then make another one. Oops, that totally didn't work. What's another event? JS Poland. My talk just aired there today, actually. It wasn't live for me. I pre-recorded my event. That's I'm finding most virtual events, the actual talk that you do as a speaker, it's mostly pre-recorded. It's you know, it's not all of them, but there are many of them that are pre-recorded instead of having like a live thing. All right. So that's fine. This, although the dates are different here, November 20th. One more. Let's see what our layout looks like. Poland. What's another one? NG, Enterprise NG. It was yesterday. This is like the enterprise variety of NG Conf. And again, I pre-recorded my talk for that one too. Okay, something like that. And then over here will be the form. I'm actually not even going to do any design work for that right now. What time is it? We are 45 minutes in, so we're doing decently on time. Basically have till 5 my time, which gives us what, 3 hours and 15 minutes more? So that's fine. Okay. So this is like the bulk of it. And now I think what we'll do is basically get like wired up with all of the stuff we need, like Prisma and GraphQL and stuff like that. We'll get all that wired up. What should I do first, though? Maybe actually, let's work on the front end first. Maybe that's a little bit more interesting. So I have this over here. What I want to do now is start creating these components over in my application. So what do we have? Pages and app. We've got this index. I'll basically be working in here for the most part, I guess, because it's really just like it's going to be a single page. It's just going to be at the root of the domain. There's going to be not really a need for multiple pages right now. So what I like to do when I'm coming in to make these layouts is start with, I mean, maybe I don't do this all the time, but maybe it makes sense to do this. Start with the screen width. Where was that? Yeah, screens. That's what I'm looking for. Screen dash. What is it where you set like the container? Yeah, that's probably it, I suppose. MX auto. Container class sets the max width of an element. So if we, for example, were to have like a div, we had a div with stuff in it, and then we had a class name, height, screen. Oh no, let's do height like 64. A border black. That give us, okay, there it is. Let's get this shadow out of the way. Actually, let's get this class out of there too. So I want to see, but I'm realizing I'm inside of a p tag here. That's not good. Okay. I want to use container. There's container. It's limiting me to a certain size so that, okay, interesting. It's like, I haven't used container actually. I'm just realizing before. But it seems to be like resizing. So let's read up on it, what it does. The container class sets the max width of an element to match the min width of the current breakpoint. This is usefully preferred to design for a fixed set of screen sizes instead of accommodate a fully fluid viewport. And you can center it, I suppose. Maybe it achieves the same thing if you do MX auto. Yeah, there it is, centered. Okay. Yeah, I think this is fine. That's probably fine. I think that works for our needs. Let's do a nav bar. So since we're in React, or in TypeScript, I should say, we can like fully type out our components. So let's bar. Have background of, let's just do gray for now. So there is our nav bar. And if we try to render this now above this container, that's what I want, I believe. So let's give ourselves a fragment. And nav bar goes here. There's nav bar. Okay, so yeah, nav bar will basically take up the whole width. But maybe within my nav bar, I actually probably want the items to, except for the logo, maybe. I was gonna say, maybe I want the items to like stay with this container, like wherever that is. I don't know. No, I was gonna put a container inside the nav bar, but I don't think I will actually. We'll just instead have what, like a button or like a link. Does it work with Next again with links? It's been using Gatsby recently, and some way that they do links. But Next link, there it is. You import link. It looks like Gatsby. Similarly, import link from Next link, and then you would do a link like this. I guess you have to tell it where to go. You go to stuff. Wrong. To choose the attributes. Oh, right. Yeah. It's not to. Again, I'm in Gatsby land. href to stuff. Yeah, it works a bit differently in Gatsby than it does in Next. In Gatsby, you do two, but here it's just href. Stuff, more stuff. Okay, I'm not going to worry too much about these right now. I am going to instead do one thing, which will be to set this height, I think. Height 32. That can be 2. Yeah, that's way too tall. Height 16. Height 10. Yeah, 10 is fine, I think. 12? Go with 10 for now. And we'll come up with a different color later, but maybe for now, it's like, what color do people like? Actually, this is a good opportunity to look at what we have here in Tailwind for colors. Where did I see it? There was like a color palette. Color palette, maybe. Color palette reference. That's what I'm thinking about. Yeah, here's all your colors, your default colors from Tailwind. And again, you can do your own stuff in Tailwind. You don't have to use these. What do we want? Maybe like a purple. I set the I set the thumbnail for this stream to use like a purple background the other day. For some reason, I was liking the purple stuff. Here, let's use Violet. Violet, that's my daughter's name. That's perfect. Do we not get it? Colors violet. Why isn't it working? I need to enable something to use it. Colors. Whether a specific name, you're encouraged to alias them. However, we even do this in default. Oh, I see what they're saying. Okay. So yeah, what happened is like I was trying to use Violet because it's called that down here. This is actually something I found confusing. Is like I would have figured that I could look at these colors and just like use these class names. But that's not how it works. Like violet is aliased to purple. Yeah, I don't know if this is gonna be what we want. Whatever, it's good enough for now. Okay, nav bar is there. We'll say margin bottom 10 pixels, something like that. Maybe even less than that. I'm going to zoom out like this. Then we can set our background color be gray 100. That way, our container here to hold the event listings, we can do shadow and background white. And what else? Rounded full, maybe? No, that's way too much. Rounded large. Yeah. Let's get rid of that border. I'll just see what it looked like. And yeah, the gray background only goes to here. It only goes to where you have content. So what I'll do is, what will I do? Basically, I want like there to be this gray color everywhere. I think what I've done before, because I don't have anywhere to like hook into to like set this class name. So I think what I've done before is I just take this color. This is maybe a hacky way to do this. Maybe not recommended, but where's that gray? Give me these. Here, let's do this. Background, gray 100. So here it is. And one thing actually that's different in Tailwind 2 that's worth mentioning is the kind of the base way that they do their grays is different. Like always in Tailwind before was this thing where like gray would actually be slanted blue. So when you would do a gray, you wouldn't actually get a gray you think you would if you're all the way to like the left side of the color picker, for example, and you have no saturation, I suppose. With the grays that were shipped previously, by default, the gray you would get was like a blue kind of gray. Now it's like a true gray or whatever. But I kind of like the blue. I've gotten used to the blue ones, and so I like the blue ones a bit better. So what I'll do, perhaps, if I can. That's interesting because the ones they're showing here, they kind of look blue, but I thought they said that they changed it so that it's only it's like regular gray, not a blue gray. Anyway, yeah. Anyway, what I'll do is I'll just copy this color, inspect. Yeah, I was doing that. This is giving me like a value that I can't really use. It's giving me this RGBA thing. Yeah, with like a variable. So I don't want that. Instead, I will go here. I will, man, so yeah, you can't get it from there. Or maybe I can just copy that. Maybe I can just do that because then it'll be picked up as a CSS variable over here. Anyway, long way to say that what I was going to do is come into styles, go to globals, and on the body, I would set that background color. Background color will be that. That didn't work though. Background color goes over the HTML. Does it just not? Oh, maybe did I get it? Let's see. So, right. Okay, it's just a different gray. That's all it is. So that back, and I can go back into my index, and then I will take off this background gray. That's not deep enough gray. I need to get something a little bit darker. This one. I can't tell if it's doing anything. Maybe not, because I don't have this variable in place, I suppose. Missing that. Yeah, that was it. Okay, so forget that variable. We're doing it quick and dirty today. This goes, is a 1. Good enough for now. Good enough for now. I want this to have shadow large, shadow medium. No, medium. How about that? I want some padding in it, maybe 8. 8 should work for what we want. And then here's where I'll do, I wonder if I should mess around with the grid system. I haven't really used grid because Tailwind has support for grid now. But I haven't really used it before. I wonder how easy it is. Use grid to create a grid container. Well, it's learning day at Prisma. Why don't we learn this? This is part of my learning. So what I want is like to get to this layout here, right? Where we've got this taking up what? 3/4 of the page, and then this just 1/4 on the side. That's ultimately what I want. So maybe we can use grid to do that. Let's see. So there's inline grid. Is that what I want? Inline grid, maybe. And then here's like flex. Inline grid, flex, block. Use grid to create a grid container. Well, I guess what I want is like a parent div. Class name equal to inline grid. And like that. So I probably need to tell it grid calls 3, grid calls 2. 3. Do what, like width full? Oh, yeah, no, that's because I haven't. So like if I did calls 10, for example, or, oh, wait a second. Calls. Yeah, grid calls 2. I just don't really know how this stuff's supposed to work with grid. Sidebar stuff. Okay, they are there. Gap x4. I don't know. Let's throw some values in, see what we get. That's the best way. Experiment. Gap x6. Yeah, I see that gap increasing. Makes sense. I control the width though. Do I do 3/4? No. Box alignment, grid, template columns. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe I don't need grid for this. Maybe that's just getting too fancy. Because I know how to do it if we do flex. Like, you just set flex on here. And then I think you do width 3/4 and width 1/4. Yeah, that's what I usually do with flex. And I mean, that works obviously for this. So that's probably fine. And then you can do like a gap with some margin. The right. I don't know. That's probably fine for now. That's good for now, I'd say. Okay, so there's the containers. Let's stub out the basically like the data that will be rendered for the events. Let's get an array. Do like a type, so we can do type event. TypeScript type telling us what property should be on an individual event, and then we'll create an array of them so that we can loop over them and render them. Oh shoot, I just closed Figma. Let's get ourselves back there. Yeah, so properties for the event, we will have name, which will be a string. Dates. Should I do this actually with the date? I should do like start date. The string or date? I'm going to put it as a string for now. End date will be a string. End date, yeah, if it's a single day event, it's like the start date and the end date are the same, but you would have to select them both. Description, string, and organization. Eventually, organization is going to be like an object, its own data entity, because there will be that data entity in the system, but not today. Location, everything's string. So events will be an array. Events. And let's go with, well, we'll need probably an ID too. So let's go with ID. That's going to be 1. And name, GraphQL Galaxy. Start date. We can do like this, 2020 12/7. And end date, December 8th. Description. Probably get a real description, I suppose, from their website. Here it is, the biggest GraphQL conference in the cloud. And finally, organization, or I guess there are 2 others. And location. Virtual. Let's say online, actually. Okay, we'll do 2 more times for the 2 other events. I have here JS Poland. Conference. Finally, number 3 is Enterprise NG. This is a multi-day one. I think it was like 11 or day 2. Yeah, maybe it was like the 19th was the start, and then it's on today. I forget. Their conference, and I guess the organizer was ngconf. I don't know. All right, so events data is there. So then here in the main stuff box, we can do events map and take an event which is typed to event. Then we want to have like a div. I'll turn this into a component in a sec, but we'll have a div where this stuff is going to go. And we can start with like maybe an H2 with the event name. But you can see, like, if you haven't used TypeScript a lot, hopefully you can see some of the benefit here is like you can do event dot, and then you get all of the information that is contained on an event, which is great. Helps you in your code editor. So yeah, no styles yet. We're going to just do this all bare, and then we'll see what's going on. Event dot division. Event dot start date. I'll have to do some logic here to see if the start and the end date are different, and if they're not different, basically I'll just take like the end date, I guess, to display. It'll handle cases where it's a single day. Location. And location. Go with that for now. Cool, there's all the data, and I'm realizing that I've got to take off this height thing. Sidebar. Although, yeah, okay. Cool, okay, so let's style this. Although, you know what, let's get over to a component right away. Const event listing, I guess. Yeah, event listing. I need something not called event because I have a type called event, so event listing works, I think. Is a component. I'm going to put an interface in there, which will give us like the prop types, not the prop types, but like what is expected on props, essentially. And usually what I do is I say like event listing props. Then create an interface. And I will have an event coming in, and that's typed as event, which I've defined up here as the type. It expects a single event, which is typed to event. Perfect. So then we can return that stuff we just defined here. Basically take this, we'll return it from here, and we have to take event from props. Props event. Okay, so now when we're mapping over here, can essentially just say it's the event listing component. Give it an event. Cool, same thing. That looks good. What do we do here? H2. Let's give it some color. Text blue. We had blue, right? Yeah, blue. Blue 700 maybe. Font bold. Text 2XL. Let's try that. Cool. You know what? It looks a bit too bold. We can try semi-bold. That's better. Okay, so then here is the one that RPen style. Thank you, RPen. It's text gray 500 or something. Italic. Good. Let's make it a bit lighter, actually. 400. Yeah, that's too light. Okay. So then we've got the date. Probably what I'll want to do. How do I want to do this? Because I want to basically like push this stuff down a bit. So here's what I'll do. I'll make a div. To go over here, and I'm going to set it to flex immediately. And that's because if I do that, then these get spaced out horizontally like I wanted from my mock-up here. All right, so let's give this some style. Background, full. 300, text, purple. 700, rounded, full. What else? Padding. What is it? PX, I want to be, yeah, like 2 and PY1 maybe. PX is the padding around like horizontally, and then PY is the padding up and down. So with that, what do we get? All right, so we're almost there. Maybe I actually messed that up. No, that's fine. It's just that maybe we don't take any padding for the up and down. Yeah, that's better. We can make that text smaller too. Text small. Is it kind of fitting in there strangely? I think we do M auto, margin auto to take care of that. Yeah, that takes care of the text orientation, but then we also have this issue where the thing itself is now way in the middle, which we can fix another way. This div, I'll give it some margin top. And then this is always the thing with, there are these arguments that go back and forth about whether you should include margin in your components. A lot of people think that you shouldn't you shouldn't be setting margin in your components themselves because that will give you the situation where you can't really consume them as easily in other places. And I think that's a good point. Like if we set some margin here in the event listing component, because I want some margin between each of them, right? So if I went here and I said margin bottom on that works, that's fine. But the problem is, if I went to consume this component elsewhere, I'm gonna have to fight against this margin if I don't want it in other places. So what you might do then is wrap your component that you're consuming like this, put it in a div, and then set your margin there instead of in the component itself. I think that, oops, fine. Yeah, that works. Okay, let's get some separation between them. So where do I do that? This is again something maybe that should happen outside of the component. Border, let's try this. Border bottom, border gray. So I suppose there we go. So padding bottom 2. Okay. And gray, let's make that a bit lighter. I don't know. Not sure if I love the look of it, but whatever. And then of course, like this one, we wouldn't want to have that. We want to have that last one there eventually. whatever though. That's probably fine for now. Okay, what's next? I need to deal with these dates. Although I'm not going to do much there right now. I'll save that for later. I'm going to need to format those in a bit of a different way. What time do we have? 2:21. So yeah, we've got about 2.5 hours, something like that. I'm just going to check in on work and stuff. Make sure we're all doing okay. Okay. So layout is done. Maybe what we do now is we get the backend going. We get a GraphQL server going. And then we can start to... Actually, I'm just wondering now, should I even deal with GraphQL right now? Maybe that's a bit overkill for today. So here's what I'm thinking. The GraphQL works great with an API route. But with Prisma, like I can take this stuff. Well, I still need a way to add records. Maybe I do need GraphQL. Anyway, my thought was like maybe I can get away with just using Prisma in the get static props function for this page, and then everything gets pre-rendered. Because you can do that. You can like you can do backend things in the get static props or get server side props functions, and then you can do your backend stuff like basically right in your React application, like query the database. But I will need an API to accept data that people submit. So I think what I'll do is I will get that API in place. Where's my nav bar? Height 12. All right. And you know what? This link should be purple. All right. Oh yeah, we also have actually the go to website button. Let's do that after. Let's save that. Let's get over to our API stuff. Okay, so what do we do? We've got to install Nexus. That's the GraphQL API server library that I like using. That's taken care of by Prisma. We do like we work in collaboration with someone named Tim Greiser to do stuff on this library. We contribute to it. We author stuff on it, and I'll find it here. If you're interested, it's like a way that you can build GraphQL servers with like doing a code first approach. So instead of doing like the typical SDL first, schema definition language first approach, you basically define your whole API using code, and it's quite nice. We'll see how to do that here. It's nice to work with. So we've got to install it. So let's do yarn add Nexus Schema. And then let's install Prisma 2. So we need two things for Prisma. We need a dev dependency. Can I do that in yarn -d? Prisma CLI. And okay, so let's make sure that went to the right spot. It did. Perfect. Okay, so Prisma CLI commands to wire up Prisma and do stuff with it. And then we need Prisma client as a regular dependency, and that's going to be the way that we access the database. What else do we need? I know that we need Apollo server micro. like a Apollo. So we need a server to serve this API. Nexus gives us a way to like create the structure for the API, but we still need a server to actually serve it up. And I like using Apollo server. And there's this variety of it called Apollo Server Micro, which is good for it's good to use that with serverless, which we'll be doing here when we deploy this. It's going to be a serverless thing. Yeah, okay. That is in place. So what do we do now? Let's go to API, and we're going to change this to be GraphQL. We want a GraphQL endpoint. And then, you know what, give me a sec here. I was just actually working on something that is similar structure to this. So where was it? It's just a blog post that that uses a structure like this. Which the blog post was by Leo, who was working at Prisma doing DevRel stuff. So this is a good like fully structured application reference. So you can check it out here. His handle is hex RCS, and you can check out this repo. There's an associated article on Dev2 with it as well. So what do we do here? We had a GraphQL directory which had context and schema. Yeah, that's basically what I want. So I'll create a directory, make sure GraphQL. There it is. Okay. And I want a schema.ts file. That's going to hold like the definition for my API. And then I want context.ts. That's going to hold stuff that I can put onto context, onto the GraphQL context, which gets passed around on the back end, and we can like use it to hook into the database and stuff. All right, I think that's good. And actually, I'm just gonna like take some of this stuff that we've already done here and reference it at least, so I can remember what we're doing. Oh, you know what? What I want to do actually is go over to Pages API and GraphQL. This is like the endpoint itself. I'm going to copy all this because this is just like common code. Yeah, this is basically like the single API route that we're going to have. So like if you have a traditional like REST style API, you'd have many different API routes, but because with GraphQL we just have a single endpoint, this is the one that you would use essentially. And it's looking for these. I need to go 3 levels up, I guess. Where's corresponding to? Oh, it's because I'm not actually exporting anything yet. Well, let's fix that. Is it 2 or 3 levels up? 1 level up, 2 levels. So it's just 2 levels up. That was right. Okay. And let's start with context. This is a pretty common just like thing too. Like this is common code basically that we don't need. It's not super particular to our application, but what it's doing here is like bringing in the Prisma clients and then putting it onto context, which means, and we'll see this when we start to build the resolvers, we can use Prisma from the context object that you get access to in the resolvers. And then schema. Yeah, let's take care of that. I want to make my schema. So import make schema. Let's do it. We'll start with the hello world GraphQL API. So query type and make schema. Those come from Nexus Schema. const query. This is what it looks like to do a GraphQL API with Nexus. Const query equals query type. And then you would give it some definition, and we operate off this T argument, which on it you can say like, give me a string field called hello, and then resolve what to give back. You can give back a string hello world. For example, then you would say your schema is equal to make schema. You need to give it some types. So you pass in like the query type here to your types array. Export default schema. I think that's what we want. Okay. Export const. It is a named export. I got you for now. Export const schema, and then yeah, so that gets picked up over here in GraphQL. We take the schema from GraphQL schema and then create context from there. We feed it all into Apollo Server Micro, and that in theory gives us a GraphQL API. What do we get over here? We compiled and everything. I think if we now go and try to check out the playground, so API GraphQL server error. That's related to something on the client. Prisma client did not, yeah, true. Prisma client did not initialize yet. So you know what, let's go into context. And what we just do, let's comment this out for now. Let's return nothing on context or who are. So did we get anything? Sweet, we get the playground. GraphQL playground is here. So if we do our hello call, hello world, we are there. Cool. Okay, so we've got our GraphQL API. That is awesome. Now, what do we do? Let's get Prisma in the mix. And to do that, so we've got Prisma installed, like we've got the CLI installed, and we've got Prisma client installed, but we need to initialize Prisma. And to do that, we say npx prisma init. When we initialize Prisma, we get it as a directory here. And if you're not familiar with Prisma, you get this .prisma file. It's your schema, and this is where this is like the source of truth for your database. This is where you define all your tables. They look like, what fields they have, the types on those fields, etc. And it's where you basically, it's where you operate. Yeah, and so this is what you will work with to be working on your database. What I have to do, I'm realizing, is get an actual database going. We're going to use Postgres. Normally what I do, like when I do demos with Prisma and stuff, is I'll just set this to SQLite and use a file system database. But I don't want to do that today because this will be a for real Postgres database. So we want to develop against a for real Postgres database. In fact, you know what I might do? I was gonna just do it locally, but maybe what I can do is maybe what I can do is get a DigitalOcean database or like a remote one going right now to develop against. I don't know, maybe not. Let's try it locally first. Let's do. I'm just creating a database really quick. Create database. Speak.dev. Okay. So what it looks like locally for me is I'd come into my environment file here, and this this isn't like when you initialize Prisma, it gives you this database URL in the environment file. So then I just swap out my super secret password and username, and then go over to my database. And if everything is wired up, that should be there. So yeah, let's define the model. So model event, that'll be this first top level model. We'll want an ID for it. So what do I want to use for IDs? Like, it could be like an integer, just like number events as numbers for their IDs. But I'm going to use strings. I'm going to use like a CU ID is what it's called, collision resistant unique ID. So ID, this is going to be the primary key for this field, marked by @ID, and then we default it to a collision resistant unique ID. That's what I want there. Then basically what I'll do is look at, well, I can even copy it over, I think. So if I go over to, where was it, index, and copy over my event, copy over my event stuff. You know what? Instead of doing that, I'm going to open this file to the side and do a side by side. I'll have name string, start date, a date time. That's another type we have here, date time, and date time, description, string, location. Actually, what we can do we do enums? I haven't really worked with this too much. Here's another good learning opportunity. Enum, location type. I think we can do, so we can do online. So that's going to be it. And then I think we can set this to location type. Location. Yeah, we can do that. Okay, anyway, so like we get this model. And oops, I'll open it up again over here. So yeah, we got the model, and now we've got to generate the we've got to actually like wire up the database. So Prisma Migrations. So Prisma Migrate is a product that like does database migrations, and it's if you've ever worked with like Laravel or something else that gives you migrations, you've probably seen how like you make a change to your data model, and then you have to run a migration to bring your database structure up to date with your model. It's like that with Prisma, pretty much. The migrate command, the migrate product, is like in a bit of a state of flux right now. It's going to be changing at some point soon. So there's yeah, so I'm not going to use migrate. I'm going to use this other there's this preview feature called db push. So we can do mpx Prisma db push, and it's a preview feature. So we have to pass that flag. Okay, database is there, and the Prisma client was generated. So that's cool. And then we can do mpx Prisma Studio to look at it. This opens up a new tab with our event model. Very cool. It's all there. And now let's plug in an event. So where are we? There we go. So I'll just do copy pasta. Name, add record, name, it's there. The date, I wonder if this will work. I don't know if it's gonna not like it if I don't give the full date. No, it's fine. So 2020, 12/08. Description here. I'm just going to throw one of them, and then the other ones we're going to put in via a location. So then, yeah, the location is online. I wonder if I should have had that uppercased. No, because I can just check against it in the UI code and then uppercase it there, whatever. All right, cool. It's there. So now we develop our GraphQL API against it. And what that looks like is this. We'd come into our schema and we would give ourselves an event type. So that equals an object type. And the name is event. And the definition looks like this. We do t.id is of type ID. Basically do everything like from our, I wonder if I should use experimental CRUD. No, I'm going to do this string name. Kind of repeating ourselves here, but string now it's probably better suited for an actual date type. Maybe we'll work that in later, but I don't know. And I always do that. I always type the name of the field first instead of string, like it should be. Okay, so that's the event type. And now we tell it how to resolve with event data. Let's go back here and fix this. In fact, what I'll do, and back over at schema, T list field is how we get a list of things. And we can say, give us a list of events and resolve in a certain way. How do we want to resolve? We want to take context and say, give us context Prisma dot events. Should be getting autocomplete here. This is something that always happens when I'm using, or seems to happen. That doesn't always work out the best is with Prisma. Oh, it's because I haven't configured things here. Yeah, that's right. With Prisma schema, sometimes you have to fiddle with it a bit to get things working. So I'm actually going to, what do? I'm going to basically copy all of this. This will be my make schema. I'll have query and event, no vision. I will import path. Nexus Prisma. Oh yeah, I didn't install that plugin. Well, you know what? Forget it for now. I'm just gonna get it out. We resolve with an empty array for now. The type, we have to say the type. We resolve with. All right. So that, in theory, if I run that, let's do this. Dev. I run that, and I make a ping over to there. Shouldn't I get my generated folder? Schema is here, generated, build page. There it is, generated, okay. So in theory, so this generates type information for us when we do those outputs, or type gen autoconfig and outputs. And now what I should get is I should be able to say context prisma dot event. There it is, event, find many. That's what I want. Why doesn't it like that? Promise with event arrays and assignable to maybe promise. Promise like. Is it just because I need to return it? Oops. Well, let's try it. Events ID. It works. ID, name, description, all there. Why doesn't resolve not like this? I'll put scalar config. So I'm looking for the field. I don't know. Sometimes like you just want to restart the TypeScript server to clear these errors, and maybe it's just like the system needs a kick. That happens quite a bit. Yeah, that may have been it. We'll see if it comes back. It may not. All right, cool. So we got the API. So we could make queries against it right. Oh yeah, see it's back. We could make queries against it right now. What we want is a mutation field to actually be able to add those in. So we could do const mutation is a mutation type. Should have imported query type. It did not. Mutation type, and then we'd have definition where we'd say t field create event. That's what we want. We want to take in some arguments, and the arguments that we want to take are basically what? Name, start date, end date, description, all of this basically. Yeah, so we could do name. Be a string arg. That's a function that comes in here from Nexus Schema, or it should be anyway. Should be coming in. Name, start date, end date, description. Type is event. Back. End date is next. Description. Organization location. Cool. Arguments are coming in, and now we want to resolve somehow, and we can do give us our args like that. Context. And I wonder if that's because I need to say this is async. No. Resolve. Okay, so we would say return Prisma. Oops, return context. Prisma. Dot event create. I'm going to create an event. We got to pass some data to it, which would be come directly from args basically. So I think we can just pass args. Yeah, we can pass in the arguments directly because that's all going to be required stuff. Although I've got to check, we made a change recently in Nexus where we inverted the nullability of a field. And so I think before, if you wanted to, before I think the way that it worked is everything was required by default. And then if you wanted something to be not required, you'd say nullable would be true. I can't remember if that's gone through. I don't think that's gone through yet. So, well, we can take a look actually at this schema that gets generated. Event. There should be something. Oh yeah, I have to go in here and add the mutation. We should be able to see from the output whether it's nullable or not. Mutation, create events. Yeah, those are all. Okay, so they're right now. They're required, or they're not required. We want to make them required. So basically, and really I want this to be an input type. Yeah, I want to do this a bit differently, actually. I don't want to take the args all in like this. I think there's input type. Input type, object type. I think I can do const event input equals input object type. Titan. Actually, I haven't really used this one very much. Oh, gotta read some docs on it. Input object type. Right, you give it a name. Event input. And you give your definition. Yeah, okay. So t.name, oops, t.string. I'm always doing that. Be a string, and then you would say required is true. I think everything is not required by default, if I understand correctly. So we want name, start date, end date, description, organization, etc. Name, start date, end date, description, organization. So that's it, I think, right? Yeah, event input. So the genomic resolvers are backing types. And like what I want to do is, yeah, okay. So then for my args, essentially what I do is say event input. I don't know if this will work. We're going to see. Turn. See what we get, kind of thing. We should be able to see. We have to add it down here, event input. Why that didn't generate mutation. Try running it again. Just let that run. No, it's not running. Save that. Does it change in? Okay, so there it is. Event input. Okay, so I just needed to kick it into gear, I guess. I refreshed in the playground to basically ping it, more or less. Right, so args, I think we can do this. Event input. Let's have today, I suppose, although this doesn't look good. Right, I wanted to do event input, and that points event input. Okay. There we go. Event input. Event input. So basically, and then probably what I should do is call this create event input. And so with Nexus, there's actually like a plugin with Prisma that takes care of a bunch of the stuff for you. So like this thing down here, Nexus Prisma, that's a plugin with these experimental CRUD features. So I could have had all of this like basically generated for me. I didn't need to go through all these hoops, but I want to kind of stick away from the experimental CRUD because there's probably going to be a bunch of situations where I'm actually going to need full control over what's in here. And I'm not going to want, I'm essentially, oh, I've got commas at the end of this. I shouldn't have that. I'm essentially going to want to full control and not have things fully generated automatically. So I will accept the extra bit of work. All right, event input is there. And then I think we can probably return Prisma event create, pass in some data, and just pass the args. Is that going to work? Data does not like that. And create inputs. If I can do this as probably not super safe. I just want to see if it works. Event create input. Args as event create input. Up in the name. If I import it, I'm going on a tangent here. But I want to see if this works. I think it would. Basically, this is like a type assertion where I'm saying the arguments that are passed in they should be treated as this event create input type that gets generated by Prisma. It's probably not a great idea to do that, though. Probably not. Create event input. Oh, right. Yeah, I know why. You need to do data.create event input, but it still doesn't like it. Data needed some type description. Location not compatible. Okay, what did I do wrong here? Prisma schema. Oh, yeah, because of my location type. I guess I could do like a GraphQL enum for that, maybe. I don't know. Where's the enum type? Members. Here's another thing that I'm learning. I haven't used this enum type before. Let's try it. Enum type. Do location type. Or location maybe. Enum name, location, members. Or what did I say? Online, I think. Check Studio. What did I say? Yeah, online is the location. Only specify number of member does not exist. Members, then S. Okay. Location gets added down here. And then what can I do? Can I use it elsewhere? So can I say like, how do I use it here? Instead of string, I want like location basically, right? Something like that, but that obviously doesn't work. Example. It's probably an enum type in here somewhere. Enum type. Enum type. No, it's not there. Repo. Here we go. Episode and more episodes. Where would I find these? Well, probably more episodes. I don't see it there. Maybe I forgot the source schema. Types. This is probably the boring part of the stream where I'm just like looking through docs. More episodes. Where are you used? There's words defined. Type gen, that's not what I want. What does the base kind of schema of this one look like? Definition, type. Oh, right. Yeah. Right? Give it a name. T field. I guess it would be a field, right? Maybe. T field. Type. Give it a name. And then you give it a type and location. Maybe not. I may not be thinking about this correctly. Type name. How is that used? Oh, this is around to see what works. That's effective. Well, I think what I'm going to do is I'm not going to fiddle with this for too much longer for the sake of time. I'm going to essentially change. I'm going to change up the schema for the database itself so that I'm not using an enum type there, but rather this will be a string. And then I will just enforce what goes into the database via the back end, the UI and the back end. Like basically the only thing you'll be able to select will be one of a few options. Although location anyway, though, I guess I can give the option to save the location as virtual, but ultimately that field would be like the city that the event takes place in. Anyway, we've got to save this. So db push preview feature, and I think I have to force because I've got data loss. Yeah, I just did that. Use force, didn't I? Prisma db push. Oh, I spelled that wrong. Preview feature force. Okay, so what's in the database now? That's still there. Interesting. It doesn't seem like it's changed. All models. It's like still the same. NPX Prisma. Well, you know what I'll do actually? I will kill that and do NPX Prisma Studio. Yeah, there we go. Now it's a string. So now this could be like anything. But we just want it to be online basically for now. In any case, let's come back over to the schema. And now let's get rid of this enum. Put that here. Get rid of type. Get rid of this string field. String other than field, I should say. Okay, mutation. So I think this is better now. It likes that better. Still don't know why I'm getting that type issue there. But anyway, let's see if we can create some more data via the API. In theory, we should be able to. Probably do a mutation where we create an event. There's that. We create event input, which is going to be this object. We get all the stuff that we want. Let's get our data. Pages, index. So name, yes, Poland. Start date. 20. Description. And organization. Poland. Location, online. ID name is what we'll return. So let's try it. Invalid. So we have argument start date, got invalid value. Right. That's supposed to be a date, I guess, right? Is that the reason? It's supposed to be like a date. Date time. Expected a date time, yeah. So to take care of this, what are the options? I mean, we could turn it basically into a date time when we resolve, but I want to say there's a way to do it from our input level. There's like a scalar, a custom scalar, I think, that gets used. In these examples. Is the scalar called datetime? Dynamic methods. Yeah, it's here, I think. Example of a datetime scalar. But I think there's something that actually comes from Nexus. Where have I seen that? I'm searching. Okay. Oh yeah, it has a Nexus method property which will make the scalar available as a built-in on the definition block. Okay. Well, let's try this. date scalar. And we import scalar type. Name is date, which means that's the thing, is like, how do I say that something should not be like a string or whatever? Object type. Okay. Oh, I think I just figured out the location thing that I was struggling with. We can come back to that. I should pull over this doc over here. Let's see. Okay, so the I think I would do a field maybe for start date. Let's try it. T field start date and yeah, type. Date is what it would be. Like that. Maybe I need to include the date scalar down here. Nexus out. Type. Do I need to run this? Maybe. Nexus has this thing where, like, if you're telling it about your code, you kind of have to like run your code first for it to be informed about what you're doing. Nexus interface type dev. Data is not assigned. Okay, I want to try this. I'm getting the same result. Oh, I need to import some stuff here. Kind. Yeah, kind comes from, I think it comes from GraphQL tools, maybe? Where did that date scalar stuff go? I was just at it. Date scalar. Yeah, kind.int. Value. Yeah, where the heck does that come from? It's imported from somewhere. Oh, there's this thing too. GraphQL ISO date. Xworkons date time. T.date is now available with types because of as Nexus method. Oh, that's right. This is actually what I was looking for. Okay. Well, that was a bit of a path of exploration, I think. But I think what we do here is to use this GraphQL ISO date thing. We import it. And then, yeah, we use this thing called as Nexus method, which makes it available to call like this, t.date, for example. We would export GQL date. Probably need to put that somewhere. And then let's get rid of this date scalar. As a Nexus method. Okay, save it. Do I get the option now to do t.date? Can I do like t.date? Maybe I can. Start date goes there. And date goes there. Now back over here, refresh just to be sure. Oh crap, we're getting some issues. T.date is not a function. Do I need to include this in my types? Maybe. Refresh. Still invalid. What are we getting now? Provided string expected at date time. Man. So I think like I want to see something. Console.log args. What does this look like if I do that? So yeah, it's like coming through as strings. I'm not sure if like this is. Oh, that's why I got to change it up here. Date and date. This. Now it's coming through in what looks like a proper date, and that's happening via the custom scaler. But what's up now? Invalid Prisma. Argument location. Provided value online of type string is not. Okay, so this is still using the enum stuff. Possible values, location type online. Why is it still using the enum stuff? We changed it up. Oh, maybe we didn't generate the client. X Prisma generate. Why? Yeah, when you make changes to your data model and you run your migrations, I think you have to do it manually to generate the client after. Yeah. All right, let's try it again. Finally, woohoo! It worked. There we go. Got that record. And now we can do that other event that we had. Enterprise NG. Yeah, 1120. And that looks good. Sweet, data's in. That's great. Okay, so back over for the, so yeah, I guess we have like the API essentially. We got the two things we can do. We can list our events and we can add events. That's what we need. Eventually, well, we will need to be able to edit and stuff too, and delete and whatever, but maybe this is fine for now. So let's take a look at them. Name. They are all there. Perfect. Okay, so what do we do now? What time is it anyway? It's 3:19, so we got like an hour and a bit. Let's close up some stuff. Give ourselves some room. Okay. So the first thing I suppose is let's get to a state where we are displaying the events still, but we're using the data from the backend. And like what we can do, you know, there's a couple different ways we could do this. We could make this like just like a regularly rendered page and then do a GraphQL query, like using Apollo. We could do that, or we could treat this as more of like a static site. And then we could use Prisma in that get static props. I think that's what it's called, get static props. to event data. Let's see. Static props. There we go. Let's try doing it this way. This is a cool way to use Prisma. Is you can import Prisma clients from at Prisma client. You would do a new Prisma client here. You do new Prisma client. Then up here and down here rather, get static props. You can do events equals await Prisma event find name. And then you return them on props. Now, props that come in here should be available. So, for example, just replace this. No. Map of undefined. I guess if we do like this, props.events and that. Let's see, do we get props.events? That's empty. Events. What do we get here? Console.log events. All right, so here's an issue. Error serializing. Start date return. Props. Reason object date cannot be serialized as JSON. Okay. Well, it's here. We get the events. But what happens? I guess it doesn't like it when it goes to be passed down, I suppose. I wonder what's going on. Well, one thing we can try is like mapping over them. So like this, like events.map, where we do start out the event, and then start date is a new date on e start date. And I have to return this. That's why it's giving me an issue. And end date, new date on e.end date. Like force it to be a date? No. Happy? Okay. Cannot be serialized as JSON. Please only return JSON serializable data. Huh. I'm going to Google this. I haven't seen this error before. Okay, so this is on the next GitHub. Data serialized to a string, and then on the client side would cause a hydration error. Next is always using JSON string if I to serialize the payload. Does handle date to string correctly. There's going to be friendly. So what are they saying we should do? You need to cast it to a string. Okay. So that's the problem. We try a string like this, I think. Now we get it. Cool. And we get, yeah, we're getting this data from the database now. We can tell that because we're getting this show up as the full like string representation of that date. All right, that works. But now I think what we want to do. Why is that? Oh yeah, that's still lowercase because of my initial thing on there. We need a unique key prop. I always forget that, of course. Key event ID. Perfect. All right. We're getting the listing. I suppose what we could do, I mean, this needs to be cleaned up, obviously. I want to do that in a little bit. I think I want to get this form, though, in place for us to be able to submit events. And then that'll probably bring us to the end of the session. We have an hour and a half left, so I think that'll be all we have time for, really. What I am going to do, though, is take a little bit of a break, a bathroom break, take a pause, and we'll come back. All right, I am back. So I just realized that there are a couple things that I need in my data model that I didn't put there yet. So I need a way to be able to tell if the event should be displayed, like if it's been approved for display. The idea is I'll take in input from anyone anonymously, and then I want to be able to approve it, which for now I guess would just be like, maybe I'll have it send me an email when an event gets submitted, and then I'll want to flip the event status to allowed to display, essentially. And maybe that works on something like this Boolean of approved. What's the other thing I need? Submitter. Submitter name, submitter email. Do that. An npx rather, Prisma db push feature. With a default value. Oh, shoot, right. Just it's oops. I don't want those to be. I don't want this to be optional. Whatever, though. For now, it's fine. For now, it's good. Okay, so yeah, and then let's quickly add that over here to the API. Event inputs. We'll have a t-string email, submitter name, t-string with submitter email. Cool. And then event, same thing. All right. So I think now, oh yeah, and that's the thing is like I want to be able to find these many events where, oh yeah, approved is true. Those are what I want to pull out. So if I refresh right now, I should get nothing. I have to maybe npx Prisma generate here. Unknown arg approved. Oh, wait a sec. Where approved equals true. How does this where input work in this case? Where approved. Yeah, this is should be equals, I believe. Oh, unknown arg approved. Event where input. That's what I want to check out. Just see what's happening here. So we'll go to node modules, Prisma, index.d.ts. Event where input. If I check it out, here it is. Approved Boolean nullable filter equals Boolean or null. So why is it telling me that this is not available? Maybe what I'll do is an old trick where I just rerun the application. Yeah, because I think I'm getting a good result here. the Prisma client likes this, right? If I did something that shouldn't be there, I would get an error. Okay, so that's fine. Yeah, again, like it's kind of annoying that it happens like that sometimes, but the cache will be stale or whatever, and it won't give you a good result right away. In any case, what I need to do is flip those all to true. And this is not picking up my changes to the data model, so I need to get rid of that one. Need to run Studio again. npx Prisma Studio. Okay. Oh, maybe that's what it was. I just wanted displaying them. So approved, we'll say it's true. And true. And true. Yep, okay, save. Now, refresh. And there we go. So it will now just display what is approved. That's perfect. All right, so we need a form here to submit an event. That is what we want to finish up on today. And yeah, what time is it? I'm realizing we probably won't have time to like deploy this like I wanted to. Maybe, I don't know. We'll see what we get here. In any case, we'll do sidebar stuff. This should say submit an event. Name, text, array, 800, text, bold maybe? Or font. Always mix those two up, text and font. Submit an event. So, okay. So we need a couple things. We need a client, like a GraphQL client to send this data. And I guess I'll just use Apollo client. We need some forms. I always go to the Apollo docs just to make sure I'm doing it right. Apollo client 3. That's what we're on now. Apollo client v3. Perfect. Get started. Why is that button not working? Okay, so install these. Actually, I need yarn for that. Yarn add Apollo client and GraphQL. Then we can just grab this. I'm going to just put this. Where do I put this? Yeah, I'll put it here. I'll wrap the whole application in it. So the URI is going to be localhost 3000 API GraphQL. And I believe if what do I do? I need Apollo provider. And I can just wrap the application with Apollo provider. Oops. Something like that. Yeah, need to probably do this. Oh, this. All right. So that should be fine. And then we need to go for the hooks. Use query or use mutation in this case is what we want. So over here, I would want use mutation add Apollo client. What else do I want? GQL, so write a GraphQL document. Yeah, I'm gonna come up with the create event mutation equals GQL. Tag to template literal, so we can do mutation create event mutation. That's where I take the args. I want to, because I always forget, use mutation. Yeah. So here I would want dollar create event input, which is of type create event inputs. Lowercase? I think it's lowercase. No, event input, that's the name. That's the one. It can be required, but over here it's not saying required. I think that's because I didn't tell it otherwise over here in my schema. Maybe I can change that quickly. So event input, args create event input. How do I say it's required here? Interesting. I'm going to just leave that for now. Okay. Create events. That's the name of the mutation that we were running. And have our create event input up to $create event input. And we'll return everything that we've got: ID, name, description, start date, end date, submitter name, submitter email. Although we don't want to, whatever, do that. Location was one of them. That's good. And then we'll want a new component, I guess, to go into that sidebar. And the component to go in there will be called create event form, maybe. It's basically like a wrapper to start. And in here, it's going to be the form. And this is where I can start to use the mutation. So like, for example, we could do create event and then data. What do we get? Data loading and error. Use mutation. Create event mutation goes in there. We got to pass arguments, and the arguments are going to come from the form. How should we do this? Well, we should use formic. I like formic for the handle forms. Yarn add formic. And so we need to bring that in. Import formic and form and field from formic. And then down here, this can be, you can open up formic here. And we have to do this. Well, we'll put a form inside. We give it initial values. And the initial values here will be like, we got name, description, start date, end date. Start date, end date, submitter name, submitter email. Probably missing something, but after initial values, and then it wants on submit. And what I'd like to do is I just take the values and initially just log them to the console so that we can make sure that the form works. And then you give it a field like this with a name of name type of text and description of text. So we can even just see if this renders okay. Create and submit an event. There's the p tag, and then we'd call on our create event form. And what do we get? Maybe we got an error. It's compiling fine. Create event form. Oh, is it because I don't have any styling, maybe? Border, black. Yeah, there we go. So the inputs were there. They were just invisible. All right. Okay. Just thinking maybe what I should do, just so I don't have to double up these class names all the time. Maybe I should create a component for a field. So const form field. Turn a field and you do like props, spread the props out that you pass in, because there's like a whole bunch of stuff you'd want to pass in for a form field. And then so the idea is like we would just take the class, we just do our class names once this way. Higher level, or is it? I don't know. Not sure if this fits the definition of higher order components. So it doesn't like name. It doesn't like name. I think that's because, you know, TypeScript will complain about this stuff. And I think what I do normally is like form field interface. Or field props, I should say. I do an interface field props. I say that name is a string so that it's okay with it, and type is a string so that it's okay with it. Basically, I just like find like what can be there. So now, of course, we can make this a little bit nicer. Yeah, let's do like we do background gray 100 and width full. Do rounded full, not full, maybe full is no good. Yeah, we could do like rounded large, medium. Height. Height. All right. Placeholders should do that. We'll need labels too. I guess we could do like a label. We'll do another component actually. Let's form label. And the label, I guess we'll just say like props name, or I don't know, what do we call it? Label, like this. Form label. Props. Interface. Label is a string. So then we can do form label. Label equal to name. We need the event name. Okay. And then another one. We do the event description. Cool. What else? Placeholder. Someone want form field. Yeah, placeholder should be accepted here. And we'll give it a placeholder. We do like JS conf best JS conf padding there so that the placeholder shows up all right. P2. Sure. All right. Those seem to be working, I think. And maybe what we do, again, this is like that margin thing. I want to be able to create some margin around these things. And so I think maybe a good approach for that would be to give ourselves like another component called form group. These components here. Return. This one's going to be just like a wrapper, basically. So like a div props children. And so like to accept that as a prop, we could do form group props and here. Children. I think the way to do this in React is you say React node. So what children ends up being. So whatever you pass in. What that means is we could do form group here. And do another one here. All right, so we shouldn't see any difference, but if we now add some styling, where did our form group go? Right here. Class name equals margin down, which is y2. Now we're getting spacing. Set to 4. Yeah, 4 is all right. Cool. Okay. What about a button for submitting? We can test that out. Yeah, if we're in like a formic form here, if we do a button within, so just a regular HTML button, we give it a type of submit, we should trigger the onSubmit function to go, and that should work. P purple 500. Text white. I like doing this. I picked this up from Adam and Steve's book on design. Purple like 100 or rounded full. Just run large. Oh, full. What we can do is do PX or PY2. There we go. Even like do a hover effect. So hover, we want background purple 600 maybe. Give yourself some feedback when you hover. That's cool. All right. Oh, those asking about the next stream. I don't know when the next stream would be. I'll keep you posted. Sign up for the mailing list. If you go to Speak.dev, there's a mailing list there. If you're not on that already, sign up there. Follow me on Twitter. I'll let you know. I'm not sure exactly when the next one would be, but I'm sure there'll be a follow-up because we're not going to get through absolutely everything today. But yeah, thanks for asking. All right, so why don't we try to see if this works? You see all this like old test stuff that I was using. Submit. Cool. So that submits our form. That's cool. we get the data out of it. And so the idea is we would take all of these values and pass them on to the mutation, to the mutation here, the create event mutation. And we would pass them through here, right? That's the arg spot. Yeah, you pass your args here. So how have I done this before with Formic? I think what I do, I need something on state maybe to pass here, because I need to use mutation and pass arguments. But I think what I can do, I think I can like pass my arguments when I call my function, I want to say. Let's see, maybe the Apollo docs give us something on that. Yeah, variables, there you go. So variables get passed there. I see, so you don't actually have to pass anything there. Instead, you can call like create event, for example, and say your variables map up to values here. I need some braces. So for example, we should see, like, if I were to try to submit this, we should see issues in the network. So submit goes to GraphQL, and then we get errors, right? And the errors say invalid Prisma event create. That's because we haven't supplied all of the data that's necessary for these things. So let's get the rest of our fields. So form group for description. We need a form group for, for start date. I think I can do date like that. And I think I get a date picker. Let's see. Oh, cool. This is so awesome that like the browser will give you this kind of decent looking date picker now, as opposed to you having to bring some library to do it. And I think like the inputs are good too, right? Yeah, like it works decently. So I guess you get yourself into an invalid date situation, or maybe not. Maybe it doesn't allow you. Yeah, it goes back to the 31st. That's really cool. All right. So what does that look like though when it comes out? So let's copy this and just log these values. What does it look like if we submit that? Sweet, it's in a good format, I think. Although I wonder if this is going to be accepted at the back end. I think it will be just fine, yeah. All right, that's so easy compared to how it used to be. Man, I remember when I used to start getting into like date pickers and stuff like that. It was always such a terrible experience. End date. End date. I guess we don't need a placeholder actually for this one. Which means we should actually make, now we're getting red squigglies here. We should make the placeholder property optional. Do that with a question mark. Start date, end date are there. And you know what? Event description, actually, I'm just realizing we should have that as a text area. I think the way to do that with Formic is you got to say component is text area or something like that. So we need another thing here, another input on our props called components, which I think we can supply to form fields, and the components will be text. No, text area. Yeah, there we go. Text area. Now it's one of these. We could give it columns. Need this over here. Calls. This way. Call, maybe it's just COL, not COLS. Text area calls. Or is it rows that I need? I've been thinking about it backwards. Rows? Let's try rows. I never use this really. Rows and calls. It's not doing anything different, right? No. So what about like 5? But rows 5. Am I on the wrong one? No. Is this an issue where I need to run the app again? I don't know why. I thought that we could do this. I just did this in another spot. Rows and calls get fed into field. So does component. Component works. Field text area. Rows too. Let me set it directly just to try it. Oh, maybe it's because of my wrapper here. This div. No, it shouldn't be that. I don't know. I'm waste too much time on it right now. All right, description, start date, end date, submitter name. Let's grab this one. Your name, that's what I want to call it. Jondo. This is to differentiate the other one, the other name we have, which is the event name. Email. Submitter. Email. Ado.com. Something like that. Your name, your email. Okay. I don't really like the labels as they are right now. I'm going to change that. Label, class, name, text, gray, 700, text, small, maybe uppercase. We can try. Sure. Over here. And font semi-bold. Try purple. I like that. That's fine for now. I'm going to throw a little margin bottom in here, even though it's probably not a great idea. Margin. Probably because it's an inline element or whatever. In fact, I wonder what it looks like if I got to handle responsiveness eventually for this. All right, what's left? Location, which should actually be closer to up here. We should have a name, description, start date, end date, location, and location. Online. And this one, I mean, I wonder how I should do this, because I don't want to be displaying like I want to have an option. I think that's what I need in the data model. I need like a Boolean for whether it's the office right next to me is banging on the wall. Yeah, what I need is like a Boolean to tell myself whether it's, or to tell the database whether it's like an online event or not. I agree. Dates and date pickers are still the worst. Yeah, I agree with that. I have spent a fair amount of time fiddling with them, and it's never fun, that's for sure. All right. So what we can do, we can try to put in a new event here. Test event. Oh, I gotta actually, before we do that, I need to use this one. Yeah. Test event. And date is there, and it ends there. Online. If I submit that, what do I get? In the network tab. Still getting errors. What's this error saying? Invalid Prisma. Oh yeah, approved. That's right. Oh yeah. So we have to, how we handle that, the whether or not the event is approved, is we do that on the back end. And what that would look like essentially is this. Here's where we create. So we take the input, we create it, but we need to force approved. So basically we take like, how are we gonna do this actually? Data. We spread out args dot create event input, and then we say that approved is false. All right. Does that work? No. Submitter name, email. Argument name for data.name is missing. Argument name for data.name is missing. Start date for data, start date is missing. Well, what am I sending? Variables, name, all that. Oh, create event input. Oh, I need to wrap this. I know what's happening. So yeah, I'm just kind of giving these variables to my create event mutation directly, but I need to wrap this in a called create event input. Maps to those values. I think. I'll try this again. Maybe not. Errors. Field organization is required. I forgot all about organization. Wow. We've been seeing that all this time. Organization. Yeah, so what I want for that is like, so description. Probably right here. Event organization. Let's see, events co. There. Organization. Now it's there. Have I missed it elsewhere though? I wonder. I can get rid of this data now. Oh yeah, my event type needs to change. Organization can come back. Let's do this again. And the events code. Let's JS conf. Now let's try. I think we got a good result. Yeah, we did. Sweet. So yeah, we can confirm that if we go and refresh. Or we won't see it yet, of course, because it's not approved yet. If we go back to the database, though, and we refresh there we go. We see it. So it says false. I want to say true. Save that. And now coming back over here, refresh. Test event is there. Okay, cool. So all of that's in. Great. So there's a whole bunch of like other stuff that we've got to do with this form for it to function like well. I mean, there's a whole bunch of stuff we can do for validation and making sure that the inputs here are okay. So I wonder if we should do that like now or when. Like, for example, I want the start date to not be after the end date. It'd be really cool if there's like a date range thing in the browser. Maybe there is. HTML date range. Not though. Limiting date range in HTML5. Oh, min and max attributes. Okay. Well, no, that's not what I want. Anyway. Yeah, so validation for the dates. What else do I want? Validation for email. That sort of thing. I don't know. Should we work that in now? We can at least get a start at it. I think the best way to do it is with what's it called? Yup. Formic. Yup. Yup is like a validation library. And it's really nice to work with. I wonder if this is still gonna, yeah, yup is what it's called. And so you like set a schema, and then you get like these errors that you can report. Yeah, let's try it. Yarn add yup. So then up here, import all as yup from yup. And then get closer over to the form here. There it is. Event form validation or event form schema. Goes yup dot object shape. We give all of our stuff name yup dot string. Yeah, and then we can set things like minimum length, the maximum length, etc. I'm just going to set required. Now, description. Maybe for description, what I'll do is set a max length. Description max 1,000 maybe. Start date. We do with dates. I think there's a validator for dates. There must be. Yup. Date. I guess we just do a date. Yep, date. Required. Let's see if this works. It may not. Start date. End date. Organization is going to be a string. Submitter name and email. Submitter email. There is an email option here. Yup.email. Required. Location. Okay, so that's our schema. And then we can pass it as validation schema to Formic. So yeah, we say validation schema equals our event form schema. And then, yeah, I guess what you do is like, instead of just going straight into your form elements, or yeah, like your form, you can get this, I don't know what you would call this, doing it like this, but like putting a function in. You can destructure out like errors and touched, whether or not your form was touched. And then within there, you would return the form. We're still rendering, okay. Oh, email is not exported from Yup. Imported as Yup. Yup. Oh, Yup string. No, and it's not a function. Or is it? What did I miss? Yup string Oh, no, it is. Email is a function. All right. Does this work? Yeah, okay. Right. So I think the idea now is like we would see errors for anything that we get errors on. So like if something is not, can't validate, we get errors. And how do they have it here? Errors. Yeah, so then like so like what we see there, what I just showed is like if you have this, stuff is missing, you try to submit, it's not actually going to submit anything to the back end. And the idea is we'd want to show a little error underneath if we get errors. And the way that we do this is just like conditional checks for errors. So example, within the form group, we could do, say, are there errors? Errors dot name. Yeah, and touched dot name. So if the field has already been touched, because we don't want to like call out an error too early, then we can display an error. Name is required, for example. Just a little fragment, maybe. Oh, you know what? No, let's do like this. Let's see. Errors.name, touch.name is required. Yeah, name is required. There we go. All right, cool. Let's make a little component for that error. And so for that, we can const error. Error props. It's verbose when you're writing TypeScript for your components, but I mean, it's worth it in the end, I think. That's what I keep going back to, is like, it does take longer to create your applications this way. Especially if you're learning TypeScript, like it's really annoying quite often to go through all the hoops you need to like satisfy the compiler. But once you know it, it's great. Do props.error. TypeScript is a huge help for so many reasons in the long run. Text red 800 or 700. I wonder why my IntelliSense for Tailwind's not working. 700 and italic, maybe. Text small. Error now is what we want. And there. Error. Name is required. There we go. Let's make it maybe 600. 5. Oh, that's fine. All right. Same thing for organization. Really love React Fast Refresh. It just shows it to you. You don't have to go step through the form again to like have these things show up. Like it preserves the state of your form, which is great. I should say in general. Actually, description maybe should be optional, or should it be? No. Let's make it required. Location. Yeah, you know what I'm realizing is like for some of these different errors, yeah, because it's not just that they're required or not. Like I have other validators like the max length or that something is an email or whatever. I'll figure that out in just a sec. Location is required. So those are in place. Submitter name. Your name is required. I'm sinking down my chair. Your email is required. If we have submitter email. Oops. All right, cool. Submitter email and touch submitter. How do I figure out if it's like what type of error it is? Errors email. Touched email. Errors email. So maybe instead of this, I instead pass it errors submitter email. Does that work? You should do that for everything. Submitter email is required field. So yeah, I think what I can do is override the message that gets put in here. How do we do it over here? Invalid email. Oh wait, yeah, that's if it's invalid. Email. Here, yeah, with yup, like if you want to override the message that gets shown, you do that as you're defining your schema. Your email is required. At least I think that's how it works. These are required fields. Your email is required. Refresh. Yeah, your email is required. And then so if we had something like that, it'll say invalid email. Perfect. Okay. So the other one that I want to pass it to, I mean, I really should just pass. Yeah, instead of me fixing these strings in place, let me just pass. Let me pass the objects, or not the object, but like the thing that's coming from the object, errors.name. Errors.organization. Errors.description. Start date. End date. Location. And what is this one? Submitter name. That's it. So I have here, I'm fine, but the other ones I'm not. Yeah. What I'll do is, I guess I could have like kept what I had, but because now I have to do this, I have to say name because I don't want it to be just like lowercase here. I want it to be customized. Name is required. So, I mean, I don't know what's better, but I guess maybe this is more flexible. Description is required. And start date. This one, I wanted to say your name, not submitter name. Your email. Oh, wait, I did that here. Yeah, that's the wrong spot anyway, because that's not going to work. All right. Let's try this again. Sweet. Okay. So, for example, if I went to 1,000 characters now, I'm just going to pull in some text from this issue, this Stack Overflow thing that I've got open, so I don't have to write out 1,000 characters. There we go. So I've pasted it in a bunch of times. Now it says description must be at most 1,000 characters. Maybe what I can do, max 1,000. How do I set a custom error message on this? Maybe? Or maybe it's a second argument. Second argument. Description is limited 1,000 characters. There we go. Sweet. Cool. That's all coming through just fine. All right. So we have the form. We got validation on the front end. We got some validation on the back end because we're using GraphQL and we're expecting certain types, right? We're expecting that all of these things are required. They've all got to be there. And, you know, we've got like certain types, like a string or a date, etc. So that is decent. What time is it? I don't think we have a whole lot of time left. It's 4:30. You know, maybe one thing I can do, because I said that we wanted to get this kind of like pushed up and deployed today, even though it's not, I mean, it's not anywhere near done in a working state. I want to deploy it just so we can see what that looks like up on Vercel. And what we can do maybe is let's format these dates and then we'll push it up. That'll cap off the day. So I want to have a util function. I'm just going to do it right in place right now because I'm quickly here. Format as date. Date. That'll be a string or a date when it comes in. Then we want to, I always have to look it up. To ISO date string. This is like the way that I usually format dates because you can take some options. Oh wait, no, that's to ISO string. I want yeah, what the heck was it? It was to locale date string. This is the better way. So yeah, we need to give it a date to begin with. And then we can call toLocale date string. So this should be a date. So we want to return date to locale date string, give it English US, set the options, which would be month long. Let's just try this. Month long, a numeric, year numeric. Format as date, returns string. Oops. Returns a string. Format as date. Now we can, in theory, use this when we're rendering in the event listing. Format as date. Although, yeah, it doesn't like it, right? Because it's coming through as a string. Fix that. So yeah, that's got to accept a string. And this, of course, doesn't like it now. We need to do a new date. I guess new date. Of course, we'd have to handle situations where what gets passed in isn't actually a properly formatted date string. But that works. We do short. Cool. Maybe what we'll do, let's just display the descriptions too, right in place. Like I was gonna have something that folds down, but for now, so what do we have? We have organization there. Maybe we just do prompt event description. And this can be okay, 700, 800, top 10. Something like that. All right. MX. Oh, that would fix this issue. Yeah, there we go. We could do margin to the right. Right margin. All right. Okay, so that's enough, I think. Oh, the nav bar. I just wanted to quickly. Where did nav bar go? Bar. We don't want these things, these links. I instead want to have like dev name text purple 200 font bold text 3XL. And then I want it to be like maybe it's here that I can try it. Oh, it's actually not in there now because I need to be flex like that, I believe. Let's see. Close this. Now that it's like expanded all the way, okay. Cancel. I just closed my code editor, I think. Yeah, I definitely did. starting it up again. Just about done for the day. Oh, okay. So in the middle like that, that's fine. Let's keep it like that for now. Okay, so what do we want to do? I want to push it up to Vercel. But I gotta figure out, because like I've got this when I initialized the Apollo client, which is where here, I'm pointing to, I'm like hard coding localhost 3000. I don't think I can do a relative path here, if I remember correctly. I don't think I can. Try. I guess I would need to do it like this. Oh, maybe it does work if I do a relative path. That's good news because I need it to be relative. All right. Let's see, got any console logs? Now the thing is, what's going to happen when I send this up to production? I won't have like a proper database connection. The other thing I want to see is if I do npm build, before I even try it, I want to see if I can even build this. Okay. API GraphQL. It's all there, I think. Generating static pages. So, what I'm just realizing, though, is like, it's probably not actually a good use of a static page, what we've done here. Yeah, get static props, because that means anytime that a new event comes in, we'd need to rebuild the site to make this happen. So I think if I'm this correctly, you could just do get server side props, turning it into a server rendered page. And then if I do npm run builds, well, let's see, can we refresh this? I think it's still gonna work. Yeah, okay, so hopefully this would then just build it as a server and just use server-side rendering, which is great for things like SEO, but that makes more sense rather than a static page. So what do we get? Static pages 0/1. Lambda for app. Does that mean yeah, so server and static side generation. believe the lambda that is pointing to here. Yeah, that means I think that it's that this page, the home page, essentially is server-side rendered, I think. All right. I want to just at least try pushing it up. Let's see. I need to go to my GitHub. I'm just going to stash this on my own GitHub for now and then move it over to Speak.dev org later. Repositories, new Speak.dev. All right, so added that. Oh, remote already exists. Get remote. Oh yeah. Something I gotta actually fix here. So yeah, I had it in like a weird spot. I actually had it in a subdirectory for whatever reason. Actually take that down. Go back. There we go. All right. So now I should be able to add the remote. What is happening here? Yeah, okay. Yeah. So now I've got my origin, everything else. Cool, cool, cool. You know what I actually might do? I might make, no, that's not going to work, is it? I was going to say I might make this a SQLite database just so we don't have to connect to a real one, but I don't think that'll work. Show our first commit. So then I'm over here in Vercel. I want to import a project from a Git repository. Continue. Okay. So this is what it looks like. Over here on Vercel, as we're trying to deploy this thing. So if it works, what's going to happen is the database, there's not going to be a database connection because we don't have a remote database yet. Yeah, so we've already got issues. Exit it with one. If you're trying to use TypeScript, please remove the tsconfig file from your package root. Interesting. So yeah, I didn't get TypeScript. It was working during develop. Maybe that's because I had that issue where it was like, it was actually inside another project. Accident. It may mean that there's other issues at play here. So we should check this out. Deployment failed. Okay, so it's still working. Cool. So if I just push this up, yeah. 6 minutes left in the stream. We are cutting it close. Try deploying again. See what we got. Yeah, there's this thing too. Tailwind is not purging unused styles because no template paths have been provided. So yeah, we have to configure it to properly purge the styles that it's not using. Okay, it looks like things are moving. That's a good sign. Uploading build outputs. Congratulations. Let's visit. Oh, looks like we got an error though. Probably because of the database issue. That's my guess. Yeah. Yeah, there's going to be issues in the API function because we don't have a proper database. Anyway, that's kind of what it looks like to start to deploy with Vercel. So I think that's all we have time for today. If anybody's actually still watching, thank you for watching. Thank you for being here. I'm going to wrap this up for the day. This was a fun learning experience. And what did I learn? I learned some things, new things about Nexus, how to use certain portions of it, new things about Prisma as well with enums and stuff like that. And then, yeah, like more experience reasoning about how to go through like a Next application like this. So yeah, if you're tuned in all this way, thank you so much. And I'll follow up maybe in an email and some tweets and stuff if you're interested in checking out some more of this. Maybe I can do another one at some point soon. All right, thanks everyone. Have a good weekend. Bye-bye.